you want to see how we helped Hannah to scale to over 18K a month as a high ticket closer, that is what we're going to go through today. So, Hannah started her journey from a corporate background, no traditional sales experience, but she was looking for a way where she could earn money without having to work 50, 60 hours a week in an office to do it. And hey, when she came to me, she said she'd be happy with earning 4K a month. And I told her, don't worry, we're going to far exceed that. So, what you're going to go through today is her entire journey with the Close Pro Academy. So, enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
as we
yeah,
were saying, finally time to catch up. I mean,
finally.
actually looking back, I think September 23 was when you officially joined, right?
Oh my God, and it's 25 now.
Yeah, it goes
I
quick.
can't believe it. I can't believe it. It feels like yesterday. It
Yeah,
really
exactly. I
really
remember
does.
jumping on, the first call,
Mm,
it was, yeah, September, late September 23.
yeah. I
I think.
remember those calls, all the role plays and oh, that was the good old times.
It was the good old days. But
Yeah.
yeah, something we were just saying was, having been in a position like myself, earning good money in the kind of corporate world, it doesn't solve all your problems. It doesn't give you all of this stuff. And people without the money look at the position and think, "Oh, my problem's going to be solved. Everything's going to be well." But it's hard, right? And where were you in Dubai?
Yeah, I grew up in Dubai, so I was out there doing the corporate shit for a while. And I was the regional account director for Coca-Cola for many, many years. So I was at the top of the ladder. I was making a ton of money, more than I'm probably making now. But I dropped it in a heartbeat, Connor. I wasn't happy. It wasn't bringing me anything fulfilling, right? Yeah, I got the nice car and all of this stuff, but I dropped it like this, moved out to LA, and I was cleaning gym floors for about 2 years, and it was the best 2 years of my life.
Because
Best 2 years of my life. But
you were
and
like me, right? You tried a few other things to make money online as well.
I tried, I wouldn't say online. I did a retail business in Beverly Hills, so I was more brick and mortar and businesses like that. And then the online was, yeah, just you, Connor.
Oh, now I feel special.
Yeah.
But
That was
it was similar in the way of, a business takes a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just making money. It's then managing that money, fulfilling on what you've sold, managing who you've sold it to, dealing with the process afterwards, finding these people in the first place.
100%, 100%. And I think all of that becomes, much easier when you do it from a place of genuinity. I don't know if that's a word, but
Authenticity, yeah. Yeah.
authenticity, exactly. Because if you're just doing the follow-ups or if you're just, trying to close to make a few bucks, for me, I'm never successful if I'm in that mindset.
Yeah.
Has to be a place from, people who come on these calls with me are going to be so inspired that they want to change their life, right? And
Yeah.
that's
And
how
when
I
you've come from, when you've come from a similar place, I think that's what helps you to connect to people. So yeah, trying to struggle launching these businesses or trying to struggle to get to a goal is what we can relate to people. And I think that's what really makes a good closer because yeah, you're right. You tried different, like I said, that's why we got on. You tried different things. It was very similar to myself. And yeah, September, nearly 2 years ago now, September 23. And then it was, if I remember correctly, you joined the program. Yeah, we were getting into training, we were doing our practice. And then we got to a position, it started around early October. I think it was end of December we started to look for roles and secured that role that we obviously helped you to get. And we
yeah,
fully started in like start of the year, right? In January.
yeah, yeah. I'll never forget that. I was in Egypt when you sent me that offer. Do you
Because you
remember?
found obviously you went don't through the training,
Yeah,
found your own offer, but then
yeah.
at the last minute I then got you another offer through the
Yes, yeah.
So we got you a better offer in, and I think looking back, obviously I know the offer. I won't name names, but I think we both know the offer. The opportunity there is okay. They flood
Yeah.
a lot of closers in. It's one of the an easy thing to get, but the opportunity that we got you I know that we had a good first month, but then an even better second, and from there we've kind of been at least above 10K since then, right?
100%. Yeah,
Mm, and
I've accumulated for them last year. I did the numbers roughly, I think about 1.6, 1.7 million.
yeah, and 10% of that straight to yourself. Do you have any bonuses on top of that? Or
No, I wish.
straight 10. Ah,
I'm still trying to milk them for that, but we'll see.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what's your biggest month been?
I think it was 180.
Oh, so 18K.
Yeah, I'm getting
Okay, so
close.
I remember last time you said 160.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
I'm
topped that. So
yeah,
you're nearly
near,
beating me. Nearly.
nearly there. This year.
You got about 4K to go, and then you beat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This year I'm gonna get to 30. I
Yeah,
feel
I know we're going to see you do that.
yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
And how did you actually find closing at the start compared to closing now? Because this is one thing I tell people a lot is you can't be a master by going through 3 months of training and doing 1,000 role plays. You know, someone I spoke to was like, well, I just don't think I'm going to be a master at the end of the 6 months I spend with you. And I said, I know you're not.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
I've been in sales for over 10 years and like I'm still learning stuff. I'm still, trying to get better as I always do because I want to impart more. But
Yeah.
yeah, what's the difference of when you started and now?
Every call I take, I learn something new. You know, every role play I do, I pick up something new. Um, there are moments now when I'm watching the news or some sort of podcast and they'll make a statement and I'll be like, oh my God, that's really good one-liner to use it. So it's just, you're ingesting and digesting all the time. From when I first started, I felt like it was, it shifted from being a textbook business to being like a natural, like it's coming out of you, you
Yeah.
know. That makes sense. I don't know how to describe it, but
Well, the way I describe it is that it's muscle memory. So
right.
consciously, you're not focused on what you need to say, the script, taking them through the questions, and oh, have I missed that question? Have I said this thing at the right time? And then you understand why you ask these questions. So that then you ask them in the most suitable way for this person, because you don't ask the question for the sake of the question. It's you ask any question you can because you know what answer you need. And if you can understand what answers you need, you ask better questions to get them.
Yeah, exactly. It's understanding that concept, which is, once you do, you get that flip and then the whole thing changes. The whole dynamic of these calls change for
Yeah.
sure. I felt that. And that was my progression last year. That's how I grew as a closer for sure.
Yeah, because I suppose, we officially started the closing. Yeah, we might have started the process in October, but we started the closing at the start of 24. So, yeah, I suppose a full year and a little bit of going through. I said
And
this.
I had papers everywhere, and I'd be doing a close. I'd have my script here and then, a few one-liners there. And so I'd had things all over me. And then I said, I know that this is not what I need. So slowly starting to get rid of that, but getting comfortable. I mean, that was literally my whole year progressing through that. Until now, it's just,
Yeah.
like you said, muscle memory.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that you start to realize you only really deal with about three types of people.
Yeah.
And you have a very different call based on what type of person they are. You know that with
Exactly.
your offer, I mean, realistically, an offer should be one type of person you help with a certain problem to overcome, but we all know there's slight variations on that. And
Right.
you saw when I was closing in my agency offer, I would deal with someone who had never launched an agency before, who had already
Yeah.
had an agency, or they were kind of like a freelancer dipping their toes in. So the call would be slightly different based on those three things, but there was nothing that I hadn't seen before, nothing I hadn't dealt with before. I knew the objection they were going to tell me before they would tell me. So you're right,
Exactly.
you kind of get into that flow
Yeah.
state. And I
And
think,
then, like you said, you have to rephrase their questions based on each individual.
yeah,
Ultimately, same. You're trying to get the same information to be able to help them, but based on what category they fall in, like you said, you kind of
mm,
have to rephrase that. Yeah, it's so interesting. What is that? Was that Neuralink? No, that's not. I can't remember. Um, the monkey thing that you used to teach us on.
yeah. So the chimp brain.
The chip brain
The
or
chimp
something
brain.
like
Like I
that.
said, yeah, the best books I ever read was The Chimp Paradox, and when
Right.
it
Mm,
spoke about your mind in those three ways. If you have your robot, it's your automatic systems, your chimp brain, which is your emotional side, and your human brain, which is your logical side. And
right.
the difference is your chimp reacts to things, but your human responds to things. And you
Right.
get into that habit, you react a lot, and you don't
Right.
think things through. And how many times do we do things like, oh, why'd I do that? But
Yeah.
that's where it's come from. It's like a separate being in you making these horrible decisions for you because unfortunately, emotions are the things that make decisions.
I know.
But then that's also something I like to tap into onto the
E-
sales calls. I know
Exactly.
who am I speaking to? The chimp is in pain, and the chimp is going to be the one making this decision. So that's who I have to sell this to.
Exactly. What a trip.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to see all these things meld together. I tell you, what was really nice for me to see more than anything was, I know that yeah, when we had that conversation before, very similar position as I was when I got started. But then seeing you go from place to place to place, like when I was a clone, I finally got to travel the world while doing it, and it
Oh,
wasn't like, oh, I'll have to be broke and stay in hostels. Like I get to travel and do what I want. Where did you go when you went traveling?
oh my God. Last year, probably over 10 places. So Amsterdam, Italy, Brussels, Paris,
Yeah,
Spain. I mean, just everywhere, everywhere. Now, the tricky part is that
time
if you're,
zones.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's that's
yeah,
the tricky part. Long story short, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's exactly what I wanted, right? That's what I told you from day one. I was able to go and spend 2 months with my family in
yeah,
Dubai. You know, I can never do that. I fly, it takes me about 2 days to get there, and then I'm only able to stay there for a week. That's back in the day. Now I just kept extending, extending, extending.
yeah.
Um,
And I
that's
think that's what I was grateful for is that I had a bag of clothes and a laptop, and it didn't matter where I went. I could just, there was someone actually asked me this in the course the other day, and they said, well, what about holidays? And I was like, well, why do you take a holiday in a normal circumstance? Because you need a break from reality.
yeah,
But when
exactly.
you're a closer, that is, you have the freedom to do what you want. So you don't have holidays. You just
Oh, I
kind of,
don't even want a
you just go
holiday. You
places.
know? Yeah.
Like,
No, it's the best. Wake up, close a few deals, and then go out and enjoy your day. Like I don't need a holiday from that. That's everything I
yeah, I
could want.
turned my diary down a little bit. Like I remember when I was with my ex-partner and we were at a resort, and it was like, oh, look, I've got to do 2, 3 calls a day. So I
Yeah,
spent about 30 to 40 minutes on a call 3 times.
exactly.
Make a grand in a day. That would pay for the cocktails for the evening.
Exactly.
And I haven't got to worry about, oh, I've got to return to work on
Yeah,
Monday. Or I've got to
yeah,
fill in what all the emails I've got to get back to. It's like, well, no,
yeah,
it's kind of my life. Like
yeah, yeah.
doing what I need to.
You cannot pay me to go back to corporate now.
Yeah. I don't think I could ever manage. I think I'd be the most unhireable person there is.
Me too. Me too.
Mm.
I get
How can you
offers
sit
I
there and
don't
listen to a boss now?
know. Come at 9 o'clock, leave at 5 p.m.,
Yeah.
Bless all the people that I talk to, but it just reminds me why I, left that
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever felt this. Like, I don't think there's any pain I felt greater than finishing and work at like 4, but having to sit there till 5:30 to be released. And looking back, it just seems so abstract. Like, it seems like Orwellian. Like
Yeah.
it's Orwellian. It's 1984. Like you can't make an adult sit there against their will.
I know, right?
That's normal. That's actually normal.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do it, you know?
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
well, some people like to. I think there's a small percentage of people who don't really like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
some people are happy doing it. And if that's you, then hey,
Good.
that's absolutely fine. There's nothing
Yeah.
against that. But I think when you're the type of person to feel that actual pain from there, you need
No.
to do something about it.
No. I mean, ever since I was in Dubai, I used to sit on my laptop and do everything but work,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Uh, And that's just when I realized I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I've got one life. I'm already 27, um, back then. And then I was like, I can't live like this. I would rather go and,
Yeah.
like I said, clean the gym floors and figure it out from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, like I said, it's been so good to see the journey and so good to see how hard you worked in the beginning and seeing it pay off. Not only obviously, hey, we're earning over 10K a month or 18K a month, like that's great. But like you said, you've been in a position where you have the money. I think for a lot of people who haven't had money and they see people doing that, that's amazing. But it's the freedom that comes with it that's always meant more to me.
Me too. Me too. That's why I wanted this in the first place, to be
Yeah.
able to get up, move around. I shut down my store. I think when we first spoke, I had my business up in Beverly Hills. I shut that down. I don't
I
need
think
to
you
be.
invested your last little bit of money and you're like, this is
I did.
gonna work.
I did. That's
You
so
saying
true.
that.
You remember?
I
And
literally
I
remember
was,
you saying that, and I was like, "Hey, look, I literally guarantee it will." So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
we're gonna
remember
make sure this
sitting on
happens.
that balcony and you popped up on my screen. I was like, let me call this guy. And that was it. That was the end of the story. Epic.
Uh,
Yeah, grateful. It's good. The
Sorry, bro.
universe aligns when necessary.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I thought it'd be really nice to kind of share this because it's nice to see like the full journey of someone who's actually worked, put the work in. They've lived what they've wanted to live. They've done what they wanted to do. So again, I appreciate you coming on and actually, yeah, sharing that with the rest of the guys and everyone.
Of course. And I can't wait to jump on the call with you guys next so that we can all meet again.
Yeah, well, like I said, now we're kind of doing the close pro elite. We want
Right?
people to
Yeah.
focus more on the guys who are actively closing.
Yeah.
Like we said at the beginning, improving our skills, not kind of getting complacent, learning from each other. And also, it's nice for people to come through who have just started to have something to aim for. I want it to be a bit of a locked thing that you kind of look at and go, what are those guys doing?
Firing. That's gonna just light that fire even more.
Yeah. And the other thing that I said that I think you resonated when I think we had that conversation when you were a few months in is that sometimes, as great as that is, it can be a bit lonely. When you're
Yeah.
used to working with a lot of people, having that buzz, I think sometimes it can be quite lonely because sometimes you're in an offer and it's just kind of you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can get together and we can share wins. It's like, hey, I just made a close. Oh, hey, I just had this objection. It feels like you're back in that office, but you're not. Then it's that nice competition, but you're not standing on each other's toes. You're all helping each other. No one stands anything to lose if everyone does well, only that we stand to win. So yeah, I'm looking forward to really boosting that group as well.
Communities are so important in all aspects in life,
Yeah,
especially in work. Yeah, 100%. Looking forward. Big
100.
year this year. Let's
We'll
go.
we'll get you on one of those calls soon.
Okay, for sure.
Well, that's